What is up, guys, and welcome back to the Gear4music Synths and Tech channel. As you can see today, we are in the beautiful Crooked Room Studios in the heart of the Yorkshire countryside. I am joined by the owner, Isaac, and we will shortly be joined by Marcus from Neumann. We're going to be checking out this beautiful array of Neumann monitors, and we're also going to be using MA1 to find out how we can optimize the speakers to the space that we're working in. Let's check it out. All right then, guys, so as you can see, I am now joined by Marcus from Neumann. Now, Marcus, why don't you tell everyone a little bit about yourself and what it is we're going to be doing today?
Sure. My name is Marcus, Tech Application Engineer for Neumann Sennheiser, and part of my role for Neumann is to go around to spaces and optimize speakers for those spaces. We're going to look at all the products we have on show here today and go into multiple different rooms and try and find the best one for that space and try and optimize them with the MA1 measurement system and the MA1 software using the DSP and the speakers.
Wow, and we've got some really interesting spaces that we're going to work with today. We've got the hallway in the studio. We've also got the kitchen, traditionally really horrible sounding spaces for mixing. But like you said, we're going to use MA1 to show you how you can optimize the speakers for that space. Isaac's going to join you now and you're going to get into the nitty gritty, and I'll see you guys later.
Isaac, hello.
Hi.
Great space.
Thank you very much.
This is your main control room?
Yeah, this is control room, mixing room. Yeah.
Can you tell me the challenges that you've experienced in this space so far?
Yeah, I mean, we've had quite a lot of challenges setting up, as I think most people do in a space, setting up speakers, just trying to find the spot where the response is kind of natural, fairly flat. We tried various different positions and ended up with this slightly bizarre setup. Kind of ridiculously wide speakers, compromising our listening position. You know, we're kind of back here from the desk and trying to reach forward when you're mixing. So
yeah,
you're moving forward and back a lot.
Places back here, and
exactly.
Then having to come forward to make changes and then coming back to reference again.
Yeah,
sure. It's not. Yeah, definitely not ideal.
Sure.
It's a lot longer, this space, than it is in depth.
Yeah.
I'm guessing this is to try and compromise some long standing waves that you're
yeah,
getting.
absolutely.
So, were you having trouble with low frequency response before?
A lot of problems. Basically, everything below 120 became a bit of an issue going that way.
Okay.
We tried a lot of different stuff, but found just switching it around seemed to.
And a lot of different speakers. Do you try other speakers?
Yeah, a few different speakers. Yeah, for sure.
All right. Well, let's see what we can do with Neumann speakers and the DSP and the
Lovely
MA1
stuff.
software. First things first, let's measure your room and see what speakers we can put in this space.
Excellent.
So I've measured your room, coming out at 4 meters by 7. Obviously, we're not using all of the space to the side because you've got lots of pianos and other things over here.
Yeah.
So our listening area is really a 4 meter by 4 meter space that we need to try and optimize for. And 4 meters is a full wavelength at about 80.
Okay.
So if your listening position here is pretty much in the middle of the room,
yeah.
I'm going to expect that you're going to be having some cancellations at 80 and potentially 200 as well. Let's see whether we can pull your listening position forward so we're not in the middle of the space.
Yeah.
And try and optimize the triangulation of these speakers.
Sure.
So the next thing, I'm going to put some speakers up here. We're going to look at the 2 different options. I think we'll do the 310s first. Put the 3-ways in. We can look at the 150s as well and do a comparison between those two. Maybe try and put them on the top of here as well, so we're not getting the reflection from the front of this. Because having your stands at the back, I'm going to expect that we're going to be getting a lot of reflection from the top of this.
Right. Excellent.
So let's put some speakers up. And see
Good stuff.
We can do.
Let's do it. Okay, so we've got the speakers hooked up and placed. Now we've moved them off the stands onto the desk, and you've added in a sub as well. So could you talk me through just a little bit of why we've gone further forward onto the desk and also added that sub?
Yes, so before you had the speakers on the stands at the back, which is putting them closer to the wall, minimizing reflection from the wall, which is great. But I feel like you're getting reflection off the top of this
Right.
desk, which is
Okay.
probably having a little bit of a counter effect because the stands, your listening height is about 1.2 meters, which is firing directly into the top of this. So I pulled them a little bit forward. We've brought them in together, which now puts your listening position, your triangulated listening position,
Right.
at about 1.2 meters.
Which is right up at the desk where I want to be.
Here. Exactly.
Yeah.
We've also added in a sub. So this allows us to do DSP for the 310s because they don't have DSP built in.
Right. Okay. I see. Yeah.
And it also allows us to do bass management. So we can take away some of the energy from the low drivers in here and pass it into the sub. And that is placed right up against the back wall to minimize the reflections as much as possible.
Right. Okay.
So I think from here, we need to verify that we've got our cables plugged in correctly.
Yeah.
We've got our left and right signal going into the sub, and then we're linking back out of the sub into these two speakers so we can do the high pass filtering, the crossover filtering in the speaker,
Sure.
in the 750, and listen to what the backplate settings.
Excellent.
So currently unaligned, no processing, just the analog speakers as they are.
Brilliant stuff.
Okay.
Okay. Have a bit of a listen.
Let's have a check and
Yeah.
see whether we've got left and right the right way around.
It's a good
First.
starting point.
So I like to use Dolby Labs. It can do multi-channel output, but also we only need left and right. So if we play the first snippet, left and right is the right way around.
And we got it right.
We go right first time.
Excellent.
Glad we know what we're doing. Fantastic. So let's play some music and see what happens.
Lovely stuff.
We've put
Yeah.
our speakers up. We've measured a bit of a triangle for us.
Yeah.
And you are 1.2 meters now between these two speakers, and the acoustic center of these speakers is 1.2 meters as well. I've disabled bass management currently, so we've just got the 310s as they are, no cleverness, no processing. There is some backplate settings that we can adjust as well.
Cool.
So before we've done any clever adjustments, let's get a reference so we know where we've started. Let's see whether it's already starting to sound different to what you've had before by pulling the speakers forwards.
Yeah.
And hopefully countering some of the reflection that we're getting from here. And then let's turn the sub on and see whether that makes a difference as well.
Great stuff.
Do you have anything you'd like to listen to?
Yeah, I've got a track lined up here. We'll have a bit of a
Perfect.
listen.
I feel so much better now.
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, straight away, there's like a load more 120 hertz sort of thing and a lot more low end for sure.
Yeah.
Straight away.
Just from the 310s?
Yeah, just from the 310s, just moving them forward. Seems that way.
Okay. So we haven't added any sub now.
No.
So let's see what happens if we add the bass
Let's
management
engage
in
that.
and see
Yeah.
whether that makes a difference as well.
Great.
Good under, baby. Activate.
Lovely.
So that's activated the sub now. Yeah, we haven't done any other sort of alignment. The sub is further away, so I've done a little bit of time alignment adjustment. Otherwise, this is just taking some of the low frequency energy away from here and putting it into a separate speaker.
Cool.
So let's see whether 2.1 is better than 2.0.
Yeah, I mean, that low end definitely like feels slightly more controlled.
A little more detail in the
A bit
low
more
ends.
detail down there. It feels less like blurry, I guess, in that low end.
Do you feeling it a little bit more?
Oh, definitely. Yeah.
Are there any resonances that are jumping out at you? Is there anything that you're not liking?
Yeah, I mean, there's something around 100 hertz that feels like blurry and still a little bit
A little bit blurry.
muffled, I guess.
Okay. Should we see if we can do anything with the sub? Do you want me
Yeah.
to keep playing?
Yeah, let's keep playing.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. What were you doing just then?
What have I done?
Yeah.
So I've just changed the subwoofer phase.
Oh, cool. Yeah, that was definitely starting to come out a bit more.
Yeah, you're starting to get a little more level or detail. What's your
starting to feel it a bit more?
starting to feel it?
Yeah.
So we've now got the sub playing in phase with our speakers above.
Right.
So do you feel like this is the best we can do with an analog alignment, or is there anything that you'd like to change to the 310s?
No, I think it's pretty good. Let me just have another listen. Yeah, I mean that's starting to sound pretty good.
You're getting there.
Yeah, sure.
Right then, let's get
Right.
this microphone.
Yeah.
Get you out of the
back
way.
over here.
Excellent. Get this into space. So the first thing we want to do is get our speaker connected.
Okay.
We've got a network adapter connected into the 750, because as I said earlier, the 310s don't have DSP built into them. So we're using the DSP in the 750 to do all the speakers. So I've got my network adapter set here. Then next, because mine's already filled out. And now it's saying output level adaptation. So what it's going to do is mute all the speakers and play tone so it knows what the input level is as the input reference. So when we go on to measuring the output level, we can compare those two signals.
Sure. Yeah.
So let's hit start on this. So we measured earlier via the form of analog that we have 130 centimeters between our two acoustic centers, which means that this will end up needing to be at 130 centimeters as well. So
Cool.
you are sat within the optimized position. So on here, we're going to type in 130 centimeters. And what we're looking for is the relative signal to noise ratio between what the speakers are outputting and the input of the microphone.
Right.
Talk amongst yourselves. So first we have to get the mic signal to noise ratio set. Here you can see we've had to increase the microphone gain to get our signal level and our signal to noise ratio in the orange. So now we can start taking measurements. The first thing we get is a wait time. This gives us a chance to step to the side or move out the room if we really had to. In our case, I'm going to put it to 1 second and it will start our first sweep. Now we're going to take a trace from the left, the right and the sub from our center position at the tip of that 130 centimeter triangle, our center reference point. Now, based on how big our triangle is, MA1 will give us instructions on how far to the left, right, front, back, above and below that center position we need to move our microphone, and repeat the same sweeps. This allows us to create an average frequency response around the listening position, and it's that average frequency response that we use against our target curve to find the inverse to apply to our speakers in the DSP. Right, and that's all the measurements taken.
Cool.
So now we'll leave the software to do its optimization. It's going to take all of those traces that it's captured, build an average, and from that, hopefully get an idea of what your room is doing and create a correction curve.
Excellent.
Move on and see what it comes back with. So what we're looking at is the yellow trace is the target curve, or the closest that we can get to our target curve.
Right.
The it says at the top, the yellow is the target that we want to try and get to, and the white line is the system response that
So that's
we
what
managed to get to.
right.
So this is what
That's what's just
MA1
measured.
thinks. No, this is what MA1 thinks the speaker's now going to sound like.
Oh, right. Okay.
So if
cool.
you click on the active automatic alignment button down there, this will now show us what our capture average was.
Right. Okay.
So you were saying there's a little bit of muddiness at 200.
Right.
Yeah,
I mean, that's
there.
that's all this right
Yeah,
there,
You're
right?
saying you're struggling with somewhere between 100 and 200.
Yep.
That's definitely what we saw.
That'll be doing it.
Yeah, right. Do we want to? Do we have a quick reminder of what this sounded like?
Absolutely.
Yeah, play your content again. So that's with the analog alignment as we were.
Yeah.
Hit that magic activate automatic alignment button. Hopefully we'll be in a much better place. So once we've applied it here now, it's in the speaker. That's it.
Oh, right. Okay.
We
cool.
save our response. We don't have to have the computer connected again. Once we've saved this as a target, it's stored in that speaker. That's it.
Oh, amazing.
So what that does mean is if you were to take your speakers into another space, this is your main listening area.
Yeah.
You can leave this as perfectly aligned. When you go into another space, chuck it into local mode, do a manual alignment,
Right.
get yourself kind of going in that other space. And then when you come back in here, back into networking, you're exactly the same state.
Put it back on. Great.
All right. So
Let's hear it.
play the same track and let's see what's happening.
Yeah. I mean, that like 120 area is balanced right out now. Yeah, definitely. Damn, I want to hear more. Yeah, I mean, that's pretty crazy, really. Like,
Straight up.
damn. But it's amazing, like, because all of a sudden you start being able to hear more detail and, you know, like, listening back to me, it's kind of going, well, I wonder if I should have maybe EQ'd this slightly different or, you know, all that sort of stuff. It's really revealing.
Starting to translate a little bit better now.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's fascinating.
We have to keep listening to more content now.
Absolutely. Just going to
Go through everything.
Well, yeah, I mean, but this is the thing, isn't it? Like, that's the purpose of having your studio monitors being what they are, is so you're hearing as flat as possible, so you can hear all these details.
Exactly.
And then it's going to translate better onto less perfect systems.
So from here now, if you've got a preference, if you want to apply a hat EQ, you can. you have these 8 bands available to you. So if you click on any of those, if you have a preference to boost 2K because you think your hearing response is slightly lacking in that area, or whatever frequency you choose, you can apply that filter now. Yeah, you can either type it in as Q, or you can drag that.
Or you can drag it
down.
up in there, right?
Yeah, and then you can obviously reduce the Q factor at the bottom.
Cool.
It will run the same optimization that it just did, find a new way of getting to that target curve, and then send it to the speaker again.
Cool, okay.
And then hopefully you'll hear a 3K bump. There we go. Optimization applied.
Okay.
So you can now see your target curve that you've just drawn in, and you can see we saw how it moved everything up to meet that target.
Yes.
So if you play something again, you should find.
Oh yeah, okay. Cool. So and then this is about kind of building personal preference for how you want
Exactly.
to hear it back. Yeah.
Yeah. So if you had you've got a sofa over here, and you think that it's particularly boomy, there's a lot of low end content over in that area, you might want to have a separate curve so that for general background listening, you could drop a load of low end out manually.
Yeah.
And have that as a second listening point.
So,
Obviously, the imaging isn't going to be the same. This is your optimum listening area.
Yeah.
But if you've just got clients in here and you want to have slightly different EQ for back here, you can apply it there. And then from the MA1 software, you can choose those 2 different preferences.
Amazing. That's great. So you can set up a couple of different curves for different situations.
Yeah, or different genres of music.
Right.
If you wanted to not have such a low end weight, I mean, we're lacking a little bit at 30 here. It's clearly must be a standing wave.
Yeah.
Between this in this space, we could try and adjust that manually. We could maybe try bringing the sub forward and try again.
Right. Okay.
Run the whole process again. In all honesty, it's not bad because we're only 6 dB down. You're still going to hear it, but you know we've still got all the 40 area. And how much content do you produce that's got anything below 30?
I mean, I'm mostly high passing up to 30.
You're right. Okay, so it doesn't really make any difference.
Yeah, absolutely.
So this is where we've got to with the 310s.
Yeah.
Hopefully you're hearing a lot more detail.
Yeah,
You've got a lot more separation and more imaging, depth to the imaging.
Absolutely.
Should be translating itself a little bit better. I think it'd be fun now to swap these out to the 150s and see whether we're getting a similar response with a slightly smaller two-way
Cool.
speaker.
Let's give it a go.
Right. So we've swapped the 310s now to 150s.
Yeah.
The nice thing about these is we've got DSP in the box. So we don't need to have the 750 to do the DSP management.
Oh, right. Okay,
so
cool.
I've just
Yeah.
put a network switch in line to the computer, run the same 7-point alignment as we just did with the 310s, and we can see a very similar response.
Very
Let's come
similar,
back.
yeah.
So should we listen to something without the alignment and then apply it again and see whether we get the same effect?
Let's see where we're at. Yeah, so we're back to that same muddiness, kind of slightly choked center image, and yeah, basically where we were before.
With the 310s.
Exactly, yeah.
But overall, tonally,
I mean,
fairly similar with the low ends.
Pretty similar. I mean, you're not feeling it as much without the sub, but it's, it's getting down there.
All right.
For sure.
Let's hit that magic button, see whether we get the same effect. Once again, a little bit of time whilst the optimization runs. And we're done.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, that sounds a million times better. It really does.
Is it comparable to the 310s?
Yeah, I mean, it's the same, it's that same level of improvement. Obviously, it is a different sound. We're not getting that kind of sub end of things, but it's extending down pretty far and feels way more balanced.
Yeah. And once again, positioning isn't perfect. Ideally, I would like to get these a little bit lower,
Sure.
but we're restricted here. Once again, the foam, whether it's doing loads, that's debate that I'm not willing to get into right now. But we're decoupling any rattling that we might be getting from the table. If we were to be putting the speakers back against the wall, we would potentially be reducing those standing waves.
Yeah.
But the interesting thing is, going back to what I said right at the start, we're still seeing on that unoptimized curve dips.
Yes.
Yeah, and we're seeing those little bumps of combination at 80 and at 200 because it's being excited in this particular dimension.
Sure.
Right then, guys, you join us now on the sofa after Isaac and Marcus have had a real chance to get into it within the control room, playing around with some monitors and MA1. Isaac, anything surprising from today, the sort of experience you've had today with Marcus?
I mean, it's surprising just quite how much it smooths out.
Sure.
Like, I was pretty happy with my setup before.
Mm.
You're kind of aware that there are little issues, but it's just that extra little bit. It's the, when we were using the analog settings on the speakers, we got it to a point where it was kind of, okay, I can use this. This is pretty good. But running that DSP, I mean, the difference is really impressive. We started hearing all this extra detail in the low end. Started spotting things that maybe I wish I'd done slightly different on the mix. And that's really what you want from your studio monitors in the control room. You want to be able to hear all the detail, and they really did that. It's really impressive.
So we've seen how well the Neumann monitors work coupled with MA1 in this controlled studio environment with loads of acoustic paneling everywhere. It's an environment that you use for mixing very often. But in Crooked Room, we do have some crooked, weird spaces, as the name suggests. So we're going to take the MA1 and the Neumann monitors to see how they work out there as well.
So, where are we? What are we doing out here?
Well, we are now in the hallway just outside the control room. Slightly less than ideal space, basically entirely untreated.
A lot more like a bedroom sort of vibe, right?
Exactly.
It's 2 meters by 4 meters. We've got some glass here for reflections, sloped ceiling. Wild.
Yeah.
Great. So by using the brand new 120s, we can use the DSP, which means we can run the MA1. So I've pulled the triangulation in as close as possible. So we're using getting you as close to the speakers as we can.
Yeah.
But we've also used the MA1 optimization, done the same 7-point measurement, and we can see on the computer now the optimization curve.
Yep.
Slick.
There we go.
So should we have a listen to your track and see where we're at before applying optimization? I think even from here, straight away, there's a lot of low end content.
A lot of low end. Is that like low mids, big bump sort of thing? Like,
and this is exactly what we're seeing on the
right.
trace.
Yeah,
right. We've got something there, 180-ish. Yeah, kind of what we expect to see.
Absolutely.
So let's see whether we can correct it with the MA1 magic. Straight away, that response looks a lot more.
Looks a lot better.
And actually, it looks kind of as comparable as what we got in your space,
absolutely.
Just through there.
Let's see what it sounds.
Let's do it.
I mean, straight away, it smoothed out some of those low mid stuff. The bass feels a little bit more manageable.
We haven't got a sub, obviously.
Yeah.
We've only got the 122s.
I mean, it's a good chunk of low end for
such a small speaker
with no sub. Like,
they're extending pretty far, aren't they?
Yeah, absolutely. It sounds great. It's like somewhat usable now.
In a corridor.
Yeah, in a corridor.
Yeah, so obviously from here we can now optimize this curve again to our taste. If there was anything that you were not liking particularly with your reference tracks, you can apply it here, realign, get you back on the track that you want to be.
Great stuff. Pop the hat EQ on it.
Stick the hat EQ on, that's it. Bit of extra HF.
Yeah.
So this is still, surprisingly, for such a small space, quite a dead sounding room.
Yeah.
Got anywhere a little bit more challenging?
I reckon we could try the kitchen.
The kitchen.
Let's see what
I like the sound of that.
A bit of a challenge.
Right. Go on then. So we're in the kitchen. What are we doing in the kitchen?
Yeah. What are we doing in the kitchen?
I guess it's a good show of somewhere completely unusual that you could need to go to.
Yeah, it's kind of maybe in a pinch, you know.
Okay. A quick reference. So we brought the KH80s in, just the 80s on their own. We've using these little ISOs to give them a little bit more height. That's the only purpose in this case. They're quite close to the wall. I've done just a single point measurement, just as if someone was to be taking these because they're small, portable, into a space, do a very quick single point measurement, and this is the response that's come out. So you can see, we can hear ourselves. It's pretty resonant in this room, but you can see there's
a
massive hump there.
Yeah.
So we've got to listen to it as it is, haven't we? Really.
Gotta see where it's at.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean,
you couldn't really use that, could you?
Really mix in here at all.
No way.
Not like that. Shall we switch over and
gotta be
see
done,
what it's done?
It's gotta be done. So straight away we can see that bump has disappeared.
Yeah.
The optimization is getting pretty close. We obviously haven't got a sub connected. We've only got the 80s, so
it's quite drastic.
The low end extension, it's not going to be there if you're doing it as a proper full mix reference.
Sure.
But if you just want to try and get some dialogue mixed on the fly,
Absolutely.
you know, with a single MA1 measurement, let's see what it sounds like.
Whoa. What the hell, man? That's actually crazy. I mean, that's really usable. That's astounding. That really is.
Without low end extension, but
yeah,
all
course,
the detail.
But the detail's there, and you know, you feel like you can make a couple of decisions without being fearful. Really, it's geez. Let's listen to some more. Man, that is really crazy. And these are like tiny speakers as well. They're really kicking out.
For the size,
Brilliant.
you can get them in a bag quite happily.
Yeah.
Get them in your bag.
I'm going to have to set up in here now.
Right then, guys, back on the sofa after a very long day of testing out different spaces, learning about Neumann monitors and using MA1 to optimize some spaces. I hope everyone's ears aren't too tired. Marcus, what did you think of today? Was there any challenges, anything you didn't expect while working in these different spaces?
Yeah, so the corridor area is a perfect like bedroom vibe. I thought it's completely untreated. It's pretty narrow in proportion. We were off-centered, and the result from the 122 was,
I mean,
pretty impressive.
really impressive. Really was.
Yeah, not only the low end extension of the box and the capability of the box, but the DSP alignment in that speaker with no sub or anything attached to it was, I think, the most stark.
Absolutely. And it takes it from basically unusable. It's not, I'm going to make some bad decisions listening in this setup to, okay, cool. I can mix. I can get it done.
It started to sound a lot more translatable to
absolutely.
what we were hearing in here, didn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
And what about the kitchen? How was that? With all those mad reflections and the size of the room on the kitchen counter.
That was ridiculous.
Yeah,
that was absolutely ridiculous. The difference after doing the DSP measurement, even with one measurement, obviously we didn't do the full 7 on that one. I mean, crazy the difference. Like, it really did make it usable. And obviously they're a small speaker, more likely to take out. They're kind of designed to be portable in some sense, and that's perfect. If you're on a shoot somewhere, or you're in a hotel room, whatever it is, just being able to really quickly and easily do those measurements, and it's so usable. Like, so usable.
So it was easy then?
Oh, it was super easy.
Yeah.
Like, what was it, like maybe 10 minutes, something like that? Less than
that. Once we had everything cabled up, it's a bag's worth of gear, isn't it?
Nice.
Yeah, you could carry it quite easily at the bottom of a suitcase, pair of speakers, handful of cables, your laptop, and you're off. Yeah, so the MA1 microphone with the optimization curves that the software takes, it means that you could use that microphone with any other software if you wanted. You could use it with many third-party measurement systems.
But the Neumann software is the best one, right?
But the MA1 software is obviously doing the best optimization for our speakers, and it can apply filtering to hit that target curve. And the biggest reflection that we've seen today was out in the kitchen, and you can quite clearly see on the laptop screen, like, we went from +10 at 180 or whatever it was, all the way.
Well, I mean, that was the thing, with the hallway, and even more in here, the difference was powerful. It made a massive difference. But you're talking a couple of dB, maybe 6 dB max at any one of the curves. In the kitchen, that was doing some really heavy lifting. That's 12 plus dB of difference. Some of those humps were huge.
Yeah, the main difference here is, we've got a treated space for the studio. Going out into the corridor, there's lots of odd shapes.
Yeah.
It's very crooked out there. Right? Strange angles to the ceiling, being slightly off-centered as well. We were trying to minimize reflections in our placement a little bit as well.
Yeah.
Going out into the kitchen, it's a complete square box, perfect reflector. You got ceiling tiles, like the whole glass as well. Like, yeah,
wow,
definitely not usable. But using the smaller speakers, keeping our listening distance nice and close, keeping the triangulation, the imaging correct. We had the little ISO blocks just for height, but we could have used anything really to get them up high enough. Because but we're not necessarily showing the power of isolation. We're showing the power of what the DSP correction was doing.
Cool. Now, Isaac, it's time for the big question, really. After today, you know, working with Marcus, trying out the speakers in a different room, do you think like the Neumann monitors with the DSP and MA1 can improve your work and your workflow?
100%.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, as I said before, you know, I have this room fairly set up, happy mixing away in it and using it on a day-to-day basis. But these just get that, you know, it's that extra 10%. This sounds good, but can we just get it that little bit better? And they absolutely knock it out of the park. It's really incredible. I was very surprised by the results, I have to say.
That's absolutely great. You heard it straight from the horse's mouth. Now, guys, if you have enjoyed this video and you want to check out more content in the future, please be sure to give the Gear4music Synth and Tech channel a like and subscribe, and leave a comment down below telling us what you thought of everything that we did today. If there was any surprises or if you have any questions, we'd be happy to answer those as well. I've been Theo, this is Isaac, and this is Marcus. Have a great day, and we'll see you soon. Bye.